Medical billing compliance is no longer a simple back-office task. It has become one of the highest risk areas in healthcare administration. A single HIPAA violation during collections can trigger fines of up to $50,000 per incident. This isn't about massive data breaches. It can be as simple as an improper voicemail message. And HIPAA is just one piece of an intricate puzzle of federal and state laws that have recently changed. Here, we'll break down the rules and risks every healthcare provider needs to understand to protect patients and their practice. First, why is medical billing so regulated? Because patient financial data is protected health information under federal law. The foundation of compliance is HIPAA's privacy rule, which strictly governs any use of protected health information for payment. If you use a third-party billing service, your responsibility doesn't end there. Your practice remains liable for how patient information is handled. Then there's how you communicate. The Telephone Consumer Protection Act, or TCPA, regulates all automated calls and texts. To legally share any protected health information with a billing vendor, a specific contract is legally required. So we have HIPAA for privacy, TCPA for communication, and vendor agreements for data handling. This is the federal baseline. Why is the business associate agreement so significant? It's the legal chain of custody for patient data. Even with a BAA, HIPAA's minimum necessary standard applies. You must only disclose the absolute least amount of PHI required. That means patient name and balance, not diagnosis. Sharing a patient's medical condition with any billing vendor is almost never compliant. This is why vetting your billing partners is a compliance function, not just an operational one. Your liability is directly tied to their practices. So you've protected the data and managed communication. Now, what happens when a balance remains unresolved and affects the patient's financial record? Now let's look at what non-compliance actually looks like. These are not theoretical risks. They happen every day. Example 1. Leaving a voicemail that identifies your clinic by name. Example 2. Discussing a patient's balance with a family member without documented authorization. The problem often starts before any follow-up process begins. A significant share of patient complaints involves bills that were already paid or contained incorrect amounts. Beyond regulatory fines, poor billing practices damage patient trust and community reputation, often a greater long-term cost than the penalties themselves. For nonprofit hospitals, the risks are more specific. Taking extraordinary collection actions before 120 days is a common violation. On top of this, the billing landscape has been reshaped by new laws, including the No Surprises Act, which governs out-of-network billing disputes. Patient financial record protections have also changed. New federal guidance now mandates a 365-day waiting period before unresolved balances can be reported to consumer agencies. Additionally, resolved balances must be removed from financial records promptly. As of 2023, balances under $500 are subject to additional reporting restrictions. And you can't just focus on federal law. Many states add another protective layer, like stricter wage garnishment limits. Some states also enforce timely billing requirements. Failing to submit a bill within the required window can forfeit your practice's ability to follow up on that balance. So we have a maze of evolving rules. But who's actually enforcing them? And where is their attention right now? Federal enforcement is increasing. The FTC now operates a dedicated healthcare task force with a specific focus on billing and patient protection violations. And the enforcement focus is expanding. It is no longer concentrated on large hospital systems. Smaller and non-hospital providers are increasingly subject to regulatory scrutiny. The main takeaway? Stronger patient protections and intensified enforcement are converging at a time when smaller providers face greater exposure than ever before. The regulatory environment is challenging, but compliance is not just about avoiding penalties. It builds a better process. The best compliance strategy is proactive communication. Simplified bills and payment options prevent issues from escalating. Ultimately, strict adherence to these guidelines isn't just about mitigating risk. It's about protecting patients and your practice's health. Your action item. Conduct an immediate audit of your billing and collections process. Review your BAAs, scripts, and staff training. Because in modern healthcare, the most compliant path is also the most compassionate, and in the end, the most profitable.